Middlemarch, A Study of Provincial Life, is a Victorian realist novel by George Eliot, the pen name of Mary Ann Evans. First published in serialized form between 1871 and 1872, the novel portrays the complexities and challenges of life in the small English town of Middlemarch. Widely regarded as one of the greatest works of English literature, it has been adapted for radio, television, theater, and opera. Eliot's other notable works include The Lifted Veil, 1859, The Mill on the Floss, 1860, and Silas Marner, 1861. The story follows Dorothea Brooke, a strong-willed, idealistic, and religious young woman eager to improve society. After the death of her parents, she and her sister Celia are raised by their uncle, Mr. Brooke, in Middlemarch. At a dinner party, Dorothea meets the much older Reverend Edward Casaubon, who shares his ambitious plans to write a monumental work of religious history, the key to all mythologies. Dorothea, captivated by his intellect and dedication, falls in love with Casaubon, hoping that their marriage will allow them to work together for the betterment of society. However, after their marriage, Dorothea comes to realize that Casaubon is not the man she imagined. His work is outdated, and the book he is obsessed with is unlikely to be completed or published. Casaubon grows increasingly suspicious of Dorothea's growing friendship with his cousin, Will Ladislaw, believing that she is influenced by Ladislaw's negative views of him. His jealousy intensifies, culminating in the revision of his will to ensure that Dorothea will be disinherited if she marries Will after his death. Casaubon dies suddenly, and Dorothea, upon discovering the cruel stipulation in his will, decides to separate herself from Will, despite her growing love for him. The novel also explores the story of Rosamond Vincy, a beautiful young woman who seeks to marry the newly arrived doctor, Tertius Lydgate. Hoping that his success will elevate her social status, Rosamond is disappointed to find that Lydgate shares Dorothea's idealism and intends to use his skills to help the impoverished residents of Middlemarch, rather than pursuing wealth. Lacking a similar sense of altruism, Rosamond's lavish spending drives the couple into debt. Meanwhile, Lydgate's progressive medical ideas make him an outcast among the town's established doctors, further complicating his life and career. Middlemarch weaves together these stories of love, ambition, and social dynamics, presenting a rich portrait of life in a provincial town while exploring themes of self-interest, idealism, and the limitations of personal and professional ambition. Lydgate finds himself in a difficult position and is forced to borrow money from Nicholas Bulstrode, a wealthy and influential banker. The circumstances surrounding the loan, however, make it appear to others in Middlemarch as if Bulstrode is bribing Lydgate, which tarnishes his reputation. Meanwhile, Dorothea, with her own painful experience of a difficult marriage, becomes a bridge between Rosamond and Lydgate, helping them to better understand each other. Bulstrode himself is hiding a dark secret. He amassed his fortune by marrying a wealthy widow and deceiving her estranged daughter out of her inheritance. John Raffles, a man who knows of this deceit, attempts to blackmail Bulstrode. Rather than resort to violence, Bulstrode allows Raffles to drink himself to death, choosing not to intervene. Despite Bulstrode's efforts to keep his past hidden, the truth eventually comes to light, forcing him to flee Middlemarch in disgrace, leaving behind a trail of chaos. The novel also follows the story of Fred Vincy and Mary Garth. Fred and Mary have shared an affection for each other since childhood. Mary is certain that Fred is the only man she could ever love, but she is in no hurry to marry him, believing that with time, he will mature into the kind of man she hopes for. Fred, however, is burdened with a debt he cannot repay. He had expected a large inheritance from his wealthy uncle, but the money was instead left to his uncle's illegitimate son. Struggling with the reality of his situation and unable to settle on a career, Fred finds himself at a crossroads. With the help of Mary's father, Caleb Garth, Fred is given the opportunity to work as an apprentice, managing the Tipton Grange and Freshitt estates. Eventually, Fred is able to live at Stone Court, a property he had once hoped to inherit. Over time, he tends to the estate, marries Mary with her father's blessing, and after many years of hard work, is able to purchase the land. Amid these intertwining stories, a romance blossoms between Dorothea and Will Ladislaw. Although Will initially has reservations about Dorothea, His admiration for her deepens as their friendship grows. Dorothea values her connection with Will, and her feelings for him intensify once she learns that Casaubon had taken steps to block her from marrying him. Despite the obstacles, Dorothea and Will do everything they can to keep their growing affection for each other a secret. In the end, they announce their plans to marry, shocking the people of Middlemarch. Dorothea sacrifices her inheritance in pursuit of true love, leaving behind the security she once thought she wanted. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.